Okay. How's everybody doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks. Time now is 6:30. And I would like to call to order the May 21st, 2024 Wrentham Select Board meeting. In accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this public meeting of the Select Board shall be conducted remotely via Zoom. The agenda posted on the town's website identifies how the public may join. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. As a preliminary matter, this is Select Board Vice Chair Chris Gallo. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Selectman Jim Anderson.
Anderson here.
Selectman Bill Harrington.
Harrington here.
Selectwoman Michelle Rouse.
Rouse here.
Long day. Chris Gallo here. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Town Manager Kevin Sweet.
Present.
Greg's not here, is he?
No, Greg won't be joining us tonight in the commitment.
Okay. And Executive Assistant Amanda Vazzapolo.
Present.
All right. I also see we have very esteemed members of the Sweat Fund Advisory Group with us tonight, which we'll be getting to in a minute. Welcome, and as well as anyone else. Welcome to the meeting. So at this time, let's dive in. I'd ask our clerk, Selectman Harrington, to read the announcements.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The announcements. Voter registration will take place on Friday, May 24th, 2024 for the annual town meeting of Monday, June 3rd, 2024. The registration will be held from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Fisk Public Library located at 110 Randall Road. Any Wrentham resident who's not registered or will become 16 years of age before June 3rd, 2024 may pre-register/register to vote. Please call the town clerk's office at 508-384-5415 with questions. 2024 Arts on the Common is scheduled for June 1st, 2024, rain or shine. See the website for complete details and schedule of events. The new water consumer portal empowers you to monitor and manage your water consumption from any device with internet access 24/7. Sign up now. 2024 Concert on the Common schedule is set. Join Wrentham Recreation on the Common most Sundays in the summer for live music. See the website for complete schedule. Sweat Beach will be opening for the season May 25th. The beach will be open weekends only through June 8th, then daily following June 8th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., weather permitting. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Selectman Harrington. Wonderful job as always. Now if we could go to, looks like tab 1, approval of the minutes. At this time, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to approve the open session meeting minutes from April 16th, 2024, May 1st, 2024, May 7th, 2024, and May 9th, 2024.
So moved.
So motion made by Selectman Harrington, second by Selectman Anderson. Barring any further discussion, seeing none. Selectman Anderson?
Anderson, yes.
Selectman Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Selectwoman Rouse?
Rouse, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0. Also at this time, the Vice Chair will entertain a motion to approve the executive session meeting minutes from January 2nd, 2024, March 5th, 2024, and May 7th, 2024.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Harrington, second by Selectman Anderson. We'll do a roll call vote. Selectman Anderson?
Anderson, yes.
Selectman Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Selectwoman Rouse?
Rouse, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0. Excellent job. On to, looks like new business. Let me just get there so I don't screw this up. And yes, here we go. Looks like it's tab, I don't know what this is, tab 4, or used to be 4 and now 3, whatever it is update on the Memorial Day observance. It looks like we have Jerry McGovern in attendance. Jerry, you with us? Okay, I don't
Yes, I
see
am.
Jerry.
Yes, I am. I'm
Hey,
here.
Jerry, how you doing?
Good. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what we've got planned for Memorial Day. I'm also joined by Joe Manning, who is the commander of our American Legion post here in town. Joe and I have kind of split duties a little bit this year on doing the coordination. He's going to let me talk first because I have the better singing voice, I think. But I think you have in your packet the agenda for what we put together. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, we do. And I want to welcome yourself and obviously the commander to the meeting. Good to see you both.
So I'm just going to go down the list of events relatively quickly, and if you have any questions, then we can come back and get into more detail about that. But the parade's going to be moved back to 10:30 this year. We had moved it to 1000 last year. I'm not really quite sure why that was, but that creates a little bit of a problem for the KP band because they're doing the event in Norfolk as well that morning. So 10:30 gives them a little bit more of a cushion to get to us. The parade will proceed through the center of town as always into the cemetery, and then we'll start the events there with the speakers. Joe is going to be the master of ceremonies this year. We have Reverend Lauren Lucassen from the Trinity Episcopal Church, who will give the opening prayer. Reverend Lucassen is new to Wrentham. This will be her first time doing this. National anthem by Miss Victoria Allen. And then we'll do opening remarks with Miss Melissa Bingham, who's our veterans agent. Melissa is also new this year as she took over for Steve Travers, who retired last March, I think it was. Just for everybody's information, in case everybody's not quite aware, we have a full-time veterans agent who works is an employee, a full-time employee for the town of Wrentham. And as part of that, there's a collaborative effort with Plainville and Wrentham. Plainville and Wrentham both have representatives to what's called the Veterans Advisory Board. I am one of those members. Ray Rose is the other member. I don't think I see Ray's on here this evening. So between what Joe does for the American Legion, what Ray and I are familiar with in town, we've kind of been working a relationship here where we kind of cross all the I's and dot all the T's together. Next, we will have Mr. Marcus Vaughn, who's our state representative, is confirmed to speak. We did invite, when I say we, I believe that came out of the Selectman's office, Senator Roush, but she is not available to come this year, as I understand that, unless Kevin or Amanda want to correct me on that.
No, that's accurate. We did hear from her office and she's unable to join us.
Okay. The next speaker will be from the Select Board, and I don't have a name on that slot just yet. Maybe we could fill it in this evening. We could do it right now if you want, or you can tell me afterwards, but that'll be the next slot. And
Yeah, we haven't discussed that. So
okay.
Yeah, we'll get back to you on that. We'll get you a name.
Okay, well, you have now between now and Monday to figure that out, so.
Yeah, or just keep it Wrentham Select Board, Jerry. And
That's fine, that's fine. Then
Maybe
our keynote speaker is Colonel Miles McHugh, who's a retired colonel from the United States Army. He's a Wrentham resident, has been involved in quite a few things here with the town and with the American Legion for the past few years. He has shared with me his remarks. I'm very impressed with what he's going to speak, so he'll be the keynote speaker. And then after he speaks, he, along with members of the scouting community that we've coordinated with, will lay the wreath at the flagpole. And there will then be the honor guard salute from the American Legion Rifle Squad. And the King Philip Band will play taps. And then that leads us to the closing prayer, which is going to be given by Reverend Doug Pettit, who's the pastor of the Sheldonville Baptist Church. The final event there will be God Bless America by Miss Ansley Palermo. And then Joe will close the ceremonies at the cemetery. We'll reform the parade as we always do, go back to the common, and we'll do the roll call of Wrentham residents who did not make it home at the common. You may recall we did this last year. I think last year was the first year we did it. We had a little problem with the audio. Joe is quite sure we've got that all figured out. And one thing we want to do a little in addition to that this year, it's a little bit different, is we had that beautiful bell at the corner there in the center of town. And our intent is to, as the names are called out during the roll call, after each name is called out, we're gonna ring that bell one time. There'll be 3 rifle salutes at 3 points on the common. The Legion will lay 3 wreaths on the common, and then we'll dismiss the parade. That's the order of events.
Sounds great. Before I open it up to the board, any questions or comments? Looks like a very well thought out event, action packed as usual. And Kevin, did I see something for you that confirms that the Alan Cameron notified the students or put the notices in the backpacks for the kids?
Yeah, I believe Amanda sent that over to go out with the backpack. I don't know what I'm not sure what they call it, the backpack send home packet. But yes, we did send that over, and they should have already went out, or it's going out this week. I'm not certain of that, but we did send something over.
All right, that's great. Again, I just want to make sure my recollection from last year is the crowd that we had was fantastic, paying tribute to our veterans, which is obviously well deserved. I want to make sure that we even surpassed that from last year. So as much notification to the community that we can give, obviously, is very important. I'll make sure I post stuff on my social media. I'm sure the board will as well. But yeah, if just as long as that did happen, I think that's very important. At this time, I'm going to open it up to the board members, see if anyone has any questions, comments.
Mr. Chair, before we do that, do you mind? If I could, just a second, just to recognize Ray Rose. He joined us. Ray's the newest appointed member of the Veterans Advisory Council. I see Ray on. I just want to acknowledge that I just appointed Ray last week. He fills the second open seat. We have one of 2 seats on the Regional Advisory Council, and happy, as you all know, Ray's been a long time advocate and supporter of everything we do with our veterans, and I'm happy to make that appointment and have him contribute in that capacity and join Jerry as our second advisory council member. So just wanted to take that opportunity to recognize Ray. Thank you. I
second that. Thank you so much, Kevin, do that. And Ray, great to see you as always. And man, there's nothing you don't do. You're an asset to the community, as we've said like 300 other times. We appreciate your service to our country, our community. It's just a pleasure to have you in our town. So thank you for all you're doing, and welcome to that role. I'm sure you're gonna add value, just as Jerry McGovern has. And at this time, I'll open up to the board, starting with Selectman Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I've got no concerns. I'm actually looking forward to Memorial Day. I want to thank Jerry and Ray for help putting this thing together. I haven't missed a Memorial Day since I was a young child. So I want to keep that streak going. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
How many years has that been, Selectman Anderson?
A lot of years.
Well, we're glad you're going there again. We love having you. Selectman Harrington.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I appreciate all the efforts on the board putting this together. I'm honored to be part of it and look forward to participating in the parade. Thank you.
Selectwoman Rouse.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Same. I'm looking forward to the event on Monday, and thank you, Jerry and Ray, for all your help in pulling this together.
And Joe Manning. I mean, we're picking
Joe
up.
Manning.
Joe's the guy who got this going for the most part, and I'm just kind of carrying his bags.
Hey, Joe, can you hear us? No? Well, Jerry, let him know. Ray, let him know how much we appreciate him.
Appreciate it.
All the work he does at the Legion. All the
There he
work.
goes.
I can hear you.
Joe, you can hear me?
Yeah, I'm just not very techy.
No, that's okay. Neither am I.
I know the feeling.
Hey, Joe, listen, we just wanted to make sure you knew how much this group of people appreciates you, all the work you do at the Legion. Like Jerry said, all the work you've done, getting these events organized over the years. You're a pillar of the community. We couldn't do it without you, and I'm looking forward to participating with you on Monday. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I love that. And I love that beard.
No. I do have one question.
Sure.
Ringing the bell. Should I get a hold of Gary Duquette? What do you think I should do on that?
I think Kevin Sweet, being our town manager, has bell
Yeah.
authority. But I will let town manager Kevin Sweet respond that. I think we should be in the clear, right, Kev?
That's correct, yeah. Joe, I can follow up with you offline, just make sure we're all good there, but yeah, everything should be all set, operationally wise.
Okay, okay, good.
All right, so
Thank you.
if there's no further comment, we're gonna let everyone go. We're gonna move on to the next agenda item. But thank you all so much. There is I don't know, did we mention that there is the school event on Friday? For those of us that might be around, I think Friday morning at the school, Sweat Fields. Here's Dr. Cameron, who just illuminated himself. Dr. Cameron, do you mind just giving us the quick lowdown of that?
My pleasure, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you for the opportunity. So we have the annual Wrentham Public Schools Memorial Day ceremony. It starts at 9 o'clock on Sweat Field. All the students will participate in singing patriotic songs, reciting patriotic poems, and remembering the importance of the day. And we focus particularly on differentiating between Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and why they're both important days, but what makes Memorial Day special. This year, I will not be in attendance this year, but it will be very capably emceed by the two principals, Ms. Maloney and Mr. Martis. And of course, we'd love to see all of you there. And anybody who serves or has served, we hope you'll wear some gear to show your service pride.
Thank you, Dr. Cameron, and thank you for your service to our country and obviously to our school system here in Wrentham. Great to have you. All right, with that being said, any other discussion, or are we okay to move on? All right, we're going to move on. Next item on the agenda is recommendations for Sweat Fund Advisory Committee. We're very fortunate to have members of the Sweat Fund Advisory Committee with us. The chair, Greg Pazurchik, Vice Chair Chris Roman, Bob Carr, Shyla Duffy, and Joyce Baldigar. Welcome to the meeting, Sweat Fund Advisory Committee. Do you want to? Do they have to open the meeting, right, Kev? Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Yep, they have a meeting.
Yeah, we can do that. I just lost half my screen. It's 6:47, and I will open this meeting of the Sweat Fund Advisory Committee. I will ask for a roll call, starting with you, Bob. Bob Carr? I think he's muted.
His screen's not on and he's muted.
All right, he is here.
Here he comes.
I am here, but still present. Can you hear me yet?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Chris, you're here, right?
I'm present.
Chris Roman's here. I heard from Joyce she won't be here, and I don't see Shyla on the screen, but I'm here, and we have Greg Pazurchik, and we have a quorum, so our meeting is open.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair Pazurchik. Our board is in receipt of the Sweat Fund request summary for 2023-24. We have all heard the request at our last meeting together. The summary was in our packet, as I stated, and I'd like to see, if it's okay with you, Mr. Chair, I'd like to see if our members have any specific questions with regard to any specific recommendations, and then I'll gladly turn it back over to you.
Mr. Chair, I had discussed it with Mr. Botash a while back. And we were going to go, since people are anxious and maybe watching to see what happens with their recommendation, we can run them down quickly. And if you want to put a hold on anything, we'll come back to it. If you. And
Yeah,
then
I wasn't.
that way we can, just zip through them quick. They'll hear what we recommended, and you can decide if you want to change anything or vote on it as is, whatever.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, we can move that along. Kev, you okay with that? All right, so
Works for
let's
me.
do that. Do you want to read them, Mr. Bezerchek, or do you want me to? And then you want my board members to shout out hold if they have
Yeah,
questions?
just hold it and we'll come back to it if there's any
Why don't you,
questions.
why don't you go ahead and take the lead on that, sir?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Chris start off with that.
All right, Mr. Roman, welcome, and please go ahead and take the lead on that, sir.
All right, I'll take the lead on that. Chris, congratulations, by the way, on being reelected.
Thank you.
All right, so the first one on the list is Conservation Commission. We are not recommending this particular one. The reason being the same as last year, an engineering survey wasn't completed, and I think the board perhaps had some other concerns as well.
Wanna do
second
the
one-
next one?
Yep,
Yep.
second one on the list is Council on Aging. We are recommending a requested amount of $8,000. We have suggested that the 1,900 come from the sweat fund, and then the remaining balance come from where you can see in Exhibit A from the reserve fund. The third party requesting funds is the Fisk Public Library. They have requested $2,200, $3,000, and $4,160. All of those are being recommended to support. And then the last one I'm covering today is the Cultural Council. That is for a tool card at the museum for $500, and we are recommending that as well.
We've also got now the landscape committee. They had 4 requests. Holiday decorations for 3,000 we're recommending. They're pruning, they had asked for $10,000, but since we don't give $10,000, we're recommending $9,999. Tree planting, $2,000 we recommended, and 3,500 for Sweat Park Common plantings, and we recommend that. Chris, did you mention that on the Council on Aging, we only recommended $1,900.70?
I did
From
because
the-
we're pulling it from the reserve fund.
Yeah, you
But-
did mention the reserve.
Yeah, I did
fund.
mention it, but you should mention that the pruning, we're transferring the funds that the 350th committee had returned
Yes,
to.
for 9, yeah, they're getting that full amount, so we're not recommending anything from the bank this year. Chris, could you also check the figure 10,000, and that should be 9,999, and will that
That's
change? our
correct.
balance?
That's correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Wrentham Open Space is asking for 6 educational walks. They asked for $1,500. We recommended $1,500. Nursing supplies, ensure nutritional supplement 2,000, and we recommend 2,000. Utility and oil assistance program, they asked for 4,500. We recommended 4,500. Recreation committee, they asked for they needed 9,900. They asked for $7,495. And we recommended that amount. We should recognize that they had a balance, which they took into account when they made their request. We appreciate that. Board of Selectmen asked for $9,999 for Christmas tree lighting, which we recommend in the full amount. And Wrentham Public Schools asked for $9,999 for the Delaney Preschool Playground Project, which we recommended with one caveat. We'd like to request that if any plaques go up, that Mr. Sweat be recognized on one of them. It's just a request from our committee, not that the committee be recognized, but Mr. Sweat's trust. And so our totals are we had requests for $99,913. We're recommending that we ask the trust for $55,753.70 that be sent to the town. And that we send $6,026.30 into the sub account at Mellon Bank. We didn't need, based on our recommendations, the whole $61,780 that was allotted to us from the this year's payout. And so that's the safest place to put it. We didn't need to use it all because we had the money from the reserve account, which was money that was sent in addition to what we'd asked for last year by the bank. So that was put into a reserve account by Mike King. And we want to get rid of that. And of course, the $9,999 that the 350th didn't need to use. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chaircheck, and the SWEP Fund Advisory Committee. I think, you know, this board is very, very appreciative and thankful for all the hard work that you do for our town, you know, via these payouts. And obviously, so thankful that we're blessed to have Mr. Sweat in our community, whose giving just continues, obviously, every year. So blessing to the community. Thank you all very much for your hard work. I don't have any questions. I agree with everything you said, but I would like to open it up to the board to make sure that that's the case with everybody else. So at this time, I'm going to ask Selectman Anderson, any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. First of all, Greg, I'd like to thank you and your committee for doing your due diligence. I've been on the Board of Selectmen now for 7 years, and you guys have always done a great job identifying different projects in town. And I would certainly agree and approve these expenditures that you've brought forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Selectman Anderson. Selectman Harrington.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I agree with Selectman Anderson. The board does a great job. Appreciate the hard work and effort that they put into it. And I would also, you know, request that the Wrentham Public School honor their request of putting that documentation on a plaque. That's it, Mr. Chair.
Okay, well said. Selectwoman Rouse.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Thank you to the committee for your work on the decisions related to the SWEP Fund request. Much appreciated. No further questions at this time.
All right, great. Dr. Cameron, I see you came back to life there. Do you want to say something about this or anything to add?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So thank you for support, advocating for this investment in the community. I want to thank Delaney School Principal, Ms. Maloney, and Director of Student Service, Ellen White, for their leadership with their committee on this playground. It's going to be a really nice addition to the town. And the SWEP Fund's been a great partner for us over the years with a lot of our work, similar work, and I appreciate that. And yes, if we put up any plaques, we will definitely recognize Mr. Sweat and his generosity. That's a great idea. I appreciate you sharing that with us, and I'll make sure. And I see that Mrs. White is on the call too, so she'll make sure that Ms. Maloney gets the message, and we'll make sure that happens.
All right, great. Mrs. White, thank you for your hard work with the playground. Please let Miss Maloney know how much we appreciate her hard work as well. And thank you, Dr. Cameron, for helping us every way that you do. So at this time, without no further discussion, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to accept the recommendations from the SWEP Fund Advisory Committee.
So moved.
So moved.
So we had a motion made by Selectman Anderson and a second by Selectman Harrington. We will do a roll call vote. Selectman Anderson?
Anderson's a yes.
Selectman Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Selectwoman Rouse?
Rouse, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you so much. Congratulations to all. And I think Mr. Pazurchek, Chairman Pazurchek, you can close your meeting.
Yeah, I'll entertain a motion, Chris, to close the meeting.
I'll second that.
No, you
No?
make the motion.
Oh, I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to close the sweat fund meeting today.
Do
And
I
I'll
hear a
second
second?
it.
Okay.
Yes.
All in
Tyler
favor?
seconds it.
Aye.
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 Our meeting is closed at 7 o'clock. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank
and,
you.
board members.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
to all the members of the Sweat Fund Advisory Committee. We really do appreciate all your hard work. Feel free to hang out and enjoy the rest of the meeting or go about your business and enjoy your evening. But thank you for all your hard work and have a great night.
Okay.
Thank you.
take care.
Bye.
Okay, next item on our agenda, as we move right along, is an update on the MBTA communities. Looks like we have 2 letters I think we got to read into the record and then get an update from any of the board members and or Kevin who might have one. So at this time, I would like to ask Selectman Harrington to read the I don't know that you have to read the survey, but definitely the letter into the record. And I'll ask Kevin for clarification on that.
Mr. Chair, that's up to the board. The letters are made part of the record, so you can just accept them. It's your choice. There's no requirement to read it into the record. I'd defer to whatever the board's wish is, but it can be just, it is just made part of the record anytime there's a correspondence.
So all we have to do is just acknowledge that the letters were there. Is that okay with the board, or would you like us to read them into the record? Board.
Mr. Vice Chair?
Sure.
Yeah, I make a motion that we accept the letters from Joe Stewart and Tom DePlacido regarding the MBTA communities.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. And we don't have to really vote that in, right, Kev?
No.
All right, accepted. Good job, everybody. What other updates do we have regarding the MBTA communities? Kevin, do you want to start, and then I'll open it up to the board if you have any?
Sure, Mr. Chair. Not a ton, just continue to have dialogue with colleagues amongst I attended the MMA Board of Directors meeting last week. In the last week, there was some sidebar conversations. It wasn't an agenda item, but again, still some frustrations, I think, from members, my colleagues and the like around the state's handling of this. And, they continue to stress back to the governor's office and the attorney general on, just the process and where it's kind of going. I feel like it's most folks feel like it's they've kind of lost the reins here, if you will. And there's definitely a lot of frustration around it. With that being said, I'm aware of 3 communities that adopted their town meeting last night: Easton, Salisbury, and Maynard. The state last update was on May 17th. The board hasn't found it. We can share it directly. It's hard to share it directly because it's a difficult spreadsheet as far as an Excel, and it's a little bit lengthy. But within the MBTA communities 3A zoning update in the state, you can see the exact status of all of, I believe there's 177 that are put in there. You can get the status update on where things stand real time as much as they update it. The last update was the 17th. As far as when the deadline for their compliance, whether they've had a town meeting vote, whether it's been approved or not approved, a couple of communities have voted to send it back to their planning boards for reconsideration and the like. That's kind of nothing definitive really to share at this point. Did have some high-level conversations with town council, which we'll continue that conversation with town council at a future coming meeting with regards to their review of the MBTA requirements.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, I know that we've been talking to town council. I was asked to get an update on town council's opinion, especially after the Mike Walsh presentation that I think was a very well done presentation. I'd like to thank Selectwoman Rouse for her hard work getting that done. So I know that is on your agenda to talk to town council. I know that they're very busy with town meeting I think they represent a few of the towns that have town meeting, right?
Oh,
Presently,
Yeah,
right?
several communities, yeah. So they're really through the month of really till mid-June. They're pretty banged out for sure.
Okay, so we will definitely continue to stay, in contact with them and get an update on some level and be able to, report that back to the townspeople as soon as we have one. Fair? Okay.
Fair.
All right, at this time, I'd like to ask Selectman Anderson, do you have any comments, questions, or anything you'd like to add about MBTA communities?
None at this time, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Selectman Harrington.
Nothing at this time, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Selectwoman Rouse.
Just one question, Mr. Vice Chair, go to, through you to Kevin. Kevin, you mentioned that towns have been frustrated with kind of the state's response. Are any of the other towns getting any response from the governor and her offices in terms of working together or addressing some of the frustrations?
Nothing beyond a couple of the definitive ones that I know have sent specific requests a number of months ago and have looked for some, reclassification or some adjustments. Those towns being Winthrop being one of the primary, as well as North Andover. But yeah, I mean, most of what you're seeing out there has just been the positive stuff of they just had a big just housing ribbon cutting and discussion, which was tied in with this in the city of Lynn, where a handful of communities that were supportive communities were invited, but nothing really beyond that. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of dialogue, and I know it seems to be, I think, directly with the secretary of housing and livable communities, but nothing really definitive.
Okay, thank you.
And
No further questions.
Oh, it's okay. Thank you, Selectwoman Rose. I do want to just mention quickly that I have gotten some feedback regarding Mike Walsh's presentation. And it was overall very good. It was very different than a lot of the information that has been presented to us in the past. So a lot of people appreciated the different perspective. That there are communities out there that are saying no, they're pushing back. It was very interesting to hear that, communities, just because they have done one of the steps in the process and haven't really adopted the zoning, that's still counted as complying. So the numbers are a little skewed with that regard. So just always good to get different perspectives. We've been told one thing from the state, you got to do this, and here's why you got to do this. And if you don't do this, this is what's going to happen. So I never like to go on one perspective. I like to get a full council. We got another perspective. It was a very informative perspective. I'm telling everyone to look at the slides that we shared and look at the presentation on Cable 8 and get educated as a community so that we can make the correct vote that's best for us. So I just wanted to mention that I have received numerous calls, emails, Facebook messages that Mike Walsh's presentation was well received, and the townspeople appreciated us doing that, because you know what I think is going on in a lot of these other communities? I don't think the citizens are educated. And I think they're shoving it on an agenda on a warrant item, and they're just voting it in with a very low turnout, with people not really know what's going on. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my suspicion. When I talk to other communities and I say, hey, just curious, why did you guys vote that in? Oh, well, we didn't really know what it was about and the way it was presented at town meeting. So Wrentham is not going to do that. We're going to vote this in or not because of a huge amount of information, so that the residents can say that they were fairly educated. And that's, I think, very important. That's our job. So with that, I digress. Anyone have any other comments?
Just one thing to add to that. You mentioned the Cable 8 video. Just remind folks that are watching, listening, that on the town of Wrentham website, wrentham.gov, under projects tab, under the MBTA communities, it continues to update that, as well as our planning office on anything new. And that video that you mentioned is on there. You can access it directly from that, so you don't have to search around. So anything that we've had that's public information and is shared, and as you said, getting the word out as much as possible. But that presentation is also and that video recording is directly embedded in that as well. You can access the link.
Thank you, Town Manager Sweet. We appreciate that. Without any further comment regarding MBTA communities, we're going to move on to the next agenda item, which is assignment of motions for June 3rd, 2024 annual town meeting. We have the town meeting warrant, and we are sponsoring one article, which is Article 1, right? The annual report. So what do we have to do with this, Kevin?
Somebody just needs to move it. Whoever you decide is going to move that.
Do we have any volunteers?
Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair, I don't mind doing that.
Yeah, thank you, Selectman Anderson. I don't like calling people out, but thank you so much. So Selectman Anderson is going to take that for the select board. All right, what else do we have to talk about with that? Do we have to vote, or can we just move on?
Yeah, just an annual thing that gets, usually there's more select board articles to handle.
Well, hey, thank you, Selectman Anderson. At this time, we're going to go to the next meeting agenda item, which I believe is voting to ratify and sign the collective bargaining agreement for the clerical union. Kevin, do you have anything to add before we do that?
Sure, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I notified the board earlier today that we received notice from the clerical union that they have voted to ratify on their end and approve it. Just like to thank the negotiating team from the clerical union, as well as our negotiating team, including Greg Enos and Mike King, our finance director, who sat in on those as well. I think the contract is a win-win for both parties, and there was a good discussions, good dialogue, a lot of conversation, and a lot of effort that went into it, and to get this done in time. Jim probably knows more than anyone that most of the time we can't get to the finish line before the annual town meeting. So oftentimes we're getting there in the fall, and we're dealing with retros and things like that. I think things were pretty straightforward, and thanks to everybody for their effort to make sure that happens. So I would recommend the board vote to ratify.
Thank you, Mr. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, listen, I read through this both last time we went over it and when you sent it back over today. I think the contract's very fair for all parties involved. And I also think the board should ratify it. I'll open it up. Any comments or questions from the board? Selectman Anderson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I also read through it, and I'm very familiar with municipal contracts. I'm okay with it.
Okay, Selectman Harrington?
Yeah, I looked, our earlier discussions and followed through with it on this. It looks like a good deal for the town and the clerical union. Nice job on the team.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you. And Selectwoman Rouse?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. No further questions.
Okay, great. At this time, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to approve the ratification of the Wrentham Clerical Union Memorandum of Agreement and to use the use of electronic signatures.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Harrington. Roll call vote. Selectman Harrington?
Yes.
Harrington, I'm sorry. I got you. Selectman Harrington's a yes. Selectman Anderson?
Anderson's a yes.
Selectwoman Rouse?
Rouse, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0. Okay. Next item on our agenda is, looks like we have a vote to sign a letter of support for Massachusetts Development Grant, 13 Franklin Street. Support letter for 13 Franklin Street. Is Beth Bryson here, Kevin? Do you see her?
No, I don't see Beth joining us. I don't know that she was planning to. I think this is something that we've done before in the past to continue to support the project that they're working on at 13 Franklin Street and support her grant application. And it was pretty straightforward. Amanda did draft this up and asked Beth to review, make sure it addresses the grant requirements and meet that. And that's what's presented before you tonight. And I have no concerns or issues. I too have drafted a letter of support from my office, also supporting the application as I have done in the prior year. So we wish her luck. I don't know timeline what's planned in the utilization of grant funds, but obviously, the revitalization of that space would be a nice improvement to the downtown.
Do we know how much the grant would be for,
I
dollar
don't.
wise?
I think I want to, no, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I know they've asked for prior grants. They didn't get the full funding on a couple of things. I think they have received a shorter amount. It was like 500,000 or something. I know the biggest issue is obviously the septic system, and then followed really by an elevator requirement. That's really going to soak up a significant amount of funds that are available that were from the grant. My discussions with Beth last year on it was that the grant was basically completely absorbed by those two items.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I think, I mean, I read the letter. I think it looks fine. Anyone have any comments, questions, anything from the board to add? See a lot of no's. Okay. At this time, Vice Chair will entertain a motion to sign the support letter to Massachusetts Development Grant for project at 13 Franklin Street. And I'm assuming use of electronic signatures.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
So motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Seeing none, go to a roll call vote. Selectman Anderson,
Anderson, yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
and Selectwoman Rouse.
Rouse, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0. Looks like at this time, the next item on our agenda is vote to sign the Eagle Scout proclamation. We have two proclamations, one for Eagle Scout Jackson Fry, and then another proclamation for Eagle Scout Alden Hardy. We have the proclamations in our packet. I looked over them personally. I know Selectman Botash actually was, emailing with Amanda as well on this. So I have no issues here. Any questions or comments from the board? No?
Mr.
Okay.
Chair, through you, Amanda, can we just update the signature section to select board? I think that's just from the prior proclamations we've done. We didn't have the name approval yet. So if we could just update that portion, that's the only thing I would add.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, those are actually updated. I printed them earlier this morning and I noticed that. So they're not in your packet updated, but the ones that are done are updated.
Figured to be on top of it. Thank you.
And if I'm not mistaken, Joe's planning on presenting one of these, right? Is that right, Amanda?
I believe so. I think in the correspondence, it looked like he had said that he should be able to attend, but if not, if you could attend and you said you would be there. So I believe you're both, one or both of you are RSVP'd. I haven't heard otherwise from Joe. I can follow up because I also need to find when Jackson Fry's is. I don't see that date anywhere.
If you don't mind, because my recollection was there was one in May that I was going to do, and then there was one in June he said he wanted to do as long as he was feeling okay. And I said, if you're not feeling okay, I'll do it or I'll find one. I'll ask one of the other board members to cover. So if you could just, if you don't mind clarifying, Amanda, I'd really appreciate that. And thank you. They look great other than the thing that you already fixed, select board. Okay, so no further discussion at this time. The vice chair would entertain a motion to sign the proclamation for Eagle Scouts Jackson Fry and Alden Hardy and to authorize the use of electronic signatures.
So moved.
Motion made by Selectman Harrington, second by Selectman Anderson. Any further discussion? Being none, do a roll call vote. Selectman Anderson,
Anderson's yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Selectwoman Rouse.
Rouse, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0. Okay. What is this next thing we have to look at? This is a vote to approve town manager vacation carryover request. Kevin, do we need to talk about this or just vote?
Happy to answer any questions. I think it's pretty straightforward in the memo. Obviously, this was a unforeseen circumstances this particular fiscal year, just with being out and trying to accomplish it. We've had a very busy calendar year, certain nonetheless. So just going to continue over the next 5 weeks to kind of burn down some of that. Obviously, we get town meeting and prioritization there. But I think I'm happy to answer any specific questions, but I think it's pretty laid out in the memo.
You able to gift vacation time to select board members? Is that
Absolutely.
okay? Pretty straightforward. Any select board members have any questions or comments for the town manager regarding this? Selectman Anderson?
I'm all set, and I'm very familiar with trying to use end of the year time. And when you're on call 24/7, sometimes it's very difficult.
Yes, sir, understood. Selectman Harrington?
No questions or concerns, Mr. Chair.
Selectwoman Rouse?
No questions at this time.
Me neither. So at this time, Vice Chair would entertain a motion to approve the town manager's FY24 earned vacation carry over request as presented due to unforeseen circumstances.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Selectman Innocent, second by Selectman Harrington. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectman Anderson?
Anderson's yes.
Selectman Harrington?
Harrington, yes.
Selectwoman Rouse?
Rouse, yes.
Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you all. As
Thank you.
self-employed, I thought you had unlimited vacation time.
Touche. Touche. Leave that alone. We can talk about that offline. Don't say that to my wife either.
I
So anyway, at this time we're gonna go to the town manager's report. Turn it over to town manager Kevin Sweet.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Yeah, I have a few updates I'd like to share. With regards to an exciting one, let folks know where things are at. With the Sweat Park renovation, invitation to bid was posted on May 7th. Bids received will be open and read on May 30th. Awards will be made, ideally will be made within the next, no longer than the next, probably about 14 days from that point. Once we do our due diligence, reviewing submittals, and doing qualifications, the like, I will make an award if we have a satisfactory bid. But the public bid opening will document the quote, if you will, the bid price, and that'll be really the only discussion at that time. But again, excited. We have had some interest. That the lists that have been pulled from the bids have been kind of broad. We've had some that were really just heavily sports court focused contractors. We've had others that were random various trades like electricians and some as well as some big GCs, general contractors that we're looking at. So I'm hoping that there's going to be interest out there. Obviously, the more the better. And hopefully that we knew from the beginning of this, and we've talked in prior discussions, that this is a little bit of a unique project. There's not a ton that do this, even on the design side of the front. It was only a handful that really, we met with the 3 engineering firms and ultimately landed on VHB, who have been very happy with and have done a great job, and their record speaks for itself. But when we explored this back when Chad was here, the difficulty really becomes the specialty courts are so specialized, and there needs to be something in for the big GC to kind of make that. That's a big component of this. The rest is really masonry work and concrete, some electrical, pretty straightforward for the most part. But the specialty courts are very unique, and trying to get a GC that's willing to work or bring on board a partner with a specialty court contractors is a little bit unique. But we're hoping. I mean, there has been interest. We're hoping to get as many submittals as we can, and I'll keep you. By our next meeting, we should have at least an update of how many were received and kind of where things land. So hopefully positive there. The other update, did you have a question? I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I just said that's very exciting, and I know you know this, but I just want to say it on record. We're obviously going to figure out the bench for Malia's family, right?
Yes. Yep. We've been talking to them. Yep. And that is definitively on the plan, on the whole plan set, the design as far as location. That's just the the specifics of what's chosen. But yeah, the spot has been identified and laid out. Good call. Crosby property for Crosby Valve at this time. We still haven't not had a site plan that has been submitted. I know Rachel has had conversations with the folks over there, and I think they're still finalizing agreements, I think, with Galaxy and kind of working out stuff. My understanding is they're still on it. They're still looking to get a submittal in, and we're hopeful that that's coming in this summer for a project that we can get behind and support. So not a whole lot to update there, but the conversation from our end, it's really 100% the ball in their court. They need to just kind of pull trigger when they're ready to apply. But we've been trying to just stay not too bearing, but obviously checking in and seeing if there's anything we can do to support and get something submitted. So the La Familia, as of March, the update was they were installing a new bathroom. No further update has been provided as of May 20th, but it does seem they posted some visible wise have done a lot of improvements, and we're looking to get an update from them as to their anticipated official opening. And kind of, I think they're still working on the finalization of some of the kitchen install and last kind of pieces. But we're hoping to get something back from them on when they do hope to open. But certainly the property's come a long way from the exterior. And there's been active work going on to some degree. Very slow, obviously, but once we have a more definitive response from them on their planned time, we'll report that back.
Kevin, do we have any updates from like John Naff or anybody regarding site plan or a couple of those things that were holding them up that they didn't do that he was asking for?
Yeah, a couple of things. One had to do with actually going to I think the BBRS, the board, with regards to bathroom waiver that they needed. So that's kind of still in queue. We're still in process with the state. And I think most of what John had was John Naff had was in pretty good shape, with the exception of those things. It was the John Robertson, our health agent, that had concerns around the kitchen. Obviously, the kitchen has been shuttered for many years, and it's a new operation. It needs to be treated as such. So he had some concerns around the plan review, particularly because they had ordered restaurant commercial equipment, but had not at that time had really gotten the approval on kitchen layout and design and stuff. So he's still he's been communicating with them to work through all that, and I think that's part of the delay as well.
Okay, thank you for that.
Sure. Amanda sent this evening, if you had a chance, I think it was shared with Chris and Joe through Stephanie. I've at least seen it prior to this point. The Route 1 billboard image that was shared, that is the congrats to the class of 2024 from the select board. It is scheduled to run through, I think today. I think today through, what did we have? Through June 3rd? July, I'm sorry, yeah. So that image, we have to work with Clear Channel's marketing team on putting that together. They're a great partner in being able to assist with developing obviously the uniqueness of what's that 40-foot billboard and the graphics of that. So what we do is we send them what we're looking to do, capture it. Their marketing team develops it, and it's worked out well. I think it'll look nice. I can't tell you how frequent or it's within the display set and however frequency. I have seen just randomly, I have seen a number of Wrentham related stuff that we've submitted just randomly on Route 1 when I've driven by. So it is random, but it is part of we'll run during that time, just like any paid advertisements, and continuous as part of the hours and as part of the agreement that the town has to run that for free. So a nice congratulations to all of the graduates, and your recognition of them, I think means a lot. And we've done this now, I want to say this is 3 or 4 years anyway. We've at least recognized that.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea it was to do it, if it was Joe's or somebody else's, but great job keeping it. It's a great tradition. And you know, I think people appreciate it, you know? So I think
Good.
it's,
Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair?
yes, sir.
Yeah, through you. Kevin, is that the billboard on Route 1 in Plainville?
It is, it's a ledge view. The Route 1 ledge view is right at Madison Street.
Yeah, okay.
Yep,
Right.
it's a double-sided, right there, very visible. It's a high yield, billboard because of it right at the location, obviously coming on and off, the ramp, but also the fact that there's a signal there. So those all add yield based on value of it. And, you know, obviously anytime you can stop people to stare at it, it's a good opportunity. So it's a great location, for messages.
Right, thank you so much.
I like they put our years in there too.
Yeah. Some of you like that.
I really don't, because I'm 45. I just turned 45, so I'm getting old.
Oh, there you go. Getting there.
All right, what else do we have?
A couple of two more updates. This just a reminder to the board. I think we sent an email out as well, a swearing-in ceremony. Excited to get another swearing-in ceremony for our police officers. I think we had a total of three or four that are swearing in. An email went out about that from Chief McGrath. That'll be held on May 28th at 6 p.m. in the Public Safety Training Room. Hopefully all of you can attend. I will be there. And an opportunity to recognize one of the officers has been on for a little while, and the other ones have just recently graduated from the most recent academy and are in the field training portion effective right now. So exciting event. And so update on the Rice Recreation Complex. Particularly Greg Enos has been working closely with the folks at Recreation Committee, Lynn Adams and Jeff a little bit. Jeff's recovering and will be back in full swing soon. They received a grant for ADA sidewalks, working with them to get a contractor in place for those ADA sidewalks to be installed that will provide ADA sidewalk to the playground structure, as well as a future pad for events, outdoor classes, et cetera, to improve access to the tennis courts with compliant ramp access and paths, all funded through a ADA compliance grant. And those that have been to particularly the playground, it stands out more as, you know, you kind of come off that sidewalk along the public restroom side. There's really no defined layout to kind of get there. You cross over the grass, and this is going to kind of create a connection, a more favorable ADA compliant connection to the playground. And then off of the back stair where the concession window is piece, look at adding another connection that will connect to what they envision and are hoping to go far through, I think, a future CPC application, you know, some other funding source, but probably CPC would be looking at. They've had it on their request for a little bit now on a sun shade structure, and are looking to do more outdoor activities under a larger permanent shade structure that would be on this larger concrete area. They've been doing a little bit more with outdoor beyond just beyond just youth or children, is the utilization of kind of running some yoga programs and different things to get others to be able to, you know, seniors and the like, not just our school-aged children, to be able to utilize the beautiful complex that we have there. And so it's coming together, will look good. As you know, one of the projects we have on the town meeting is through the capital, it will be to redo that entire parking lot, as far as crack sealing and seal coating, as well as line striping. It'll look sharp, and, you know, things are kind of making gains and wins in little areas all over. And of course, Jeff and his team does an amazing job with keeping that complex look as beautiful as it does. So coming along. Last thing I had, just an update. We had a finance committee public hearing last night on the budget, as well as the discussion on their articles. They have a number of articles this year related to financial matters. They have unanimously voted to recommend all of the articles, with the exception of the CPC article related to the Housing Authority request. And that was solely, at this point, they have to put in writing a recommendation or not recommend. And that was the only time to be able to do that, to capture it for the report to voters. They are meeting prior to the town meeting where they're going to reconsider that and be able to make a verbal recommend or not recommend. There's some additional information and questions that they had with regards to the request specifically from the Housing Authority, specific for the it was related to ADA access for doors and access control for exterior doors. So otherwise, the Finance Committee was very favorable to everything that was presented and supported all of the projects that you folks have supported. And I think hopefully we have a good town meeting. That's all I have, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to answer any other questions.
Okay, thank you, Town Manager Sweet. Selectman Anderson, any questions for Town Manager?
None.
Okay, Selectman Harrington.
Probably half a dozen or more, but I'll reserve those to a later date.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Selectwoman Rouse.
No further questions at this time.
Okay, this time, in keeping with tradition, I'm going to turn it over to Selectman Anderson.
Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair, before we wrap up for tonight, I would suggest that if Chairman Botash isn't available for Memorial Day, that you as Vice Chair represent the selectmen at the Summit Cemetery.
Okay.
Mr. Vice Chair, I would just, if I could, just, Mr. Chair, great comment. I did reach out, I did connect with Joe today. He's going to try to walk, and be part of it if he's feeling up to it. So that's positive. We hope he's able to join us and do that. If not, he won't be present, but ask him to keep me updated. If he's willing, if he needs a ride, whatever the case may be, we'll make sure that happens to get him there. But what I would say is it's probably the Selectman Anderson's comments probably makes sense for you to plan to do that no matter what. Only because from a talking standpoint, I don't know that that's going to be a viable option. Even if Joe is able to join us and walk, I would still recommend or plan that you're going to do the talking.
I mean, that's fine. And the only reason why I didn't say anything earlier was because I hadn't really thought about it. I always want, like Joe's very good at including the whole board. I want to include the whole board. And I was trying to think during the meeting of how we could all get up there and do something. So I'm open to suggestions. I don't mind saying a couple of quick words on behalf of the board, but I only do that if you guys come up there with me and the townspeople can see how our board is united and we support our townspeople and our veterans united together.
Right behind you, Chris.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes, love it.
Thank you. And to your point, I hope Joe will be there. I was texting with him earlier. We don't do enough of this, but I want Joe to know if he's watching or if someone gets him the message. This board loves him and misses him. He's asked the community and this board. And I know we, have a lot of business to do, but it's important to acknowledge the fact that, as he says, Wrentham's a family, this board's a family, and there's a visible piece of the family missing when he's not on these meetings with us.
For sure.
I miss him personally. So yeah, Kevin, great call. I don't care what we have to do. If he's up to it, let's get him there. I'll give him a ride. I know you'll give him a ride. Any one of us will give him a ride. Let's get him there. But thank you. And I'll if anyone has any suggestions on what I should say, shoot me a text or email. I'll find something patriotic that talks about our wonderful veterans, and I'll keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair.
Well said.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you might want to reach out to Selectman Botash. He's done this for a number of years. He probably has something written that you can probably borrow from him.
You know what, Jim? That's a great idea. He probably does. Thank you for that. I will definitely do that. So Jim, back to you. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to you for our adjournment.
So, Mr. Vice Chair, first of all, I want to thank you and the rest of the members of the Board of Selectmen and our town manager, Kevin Sweet. This was a great meeting, and we got it done in about an hour and about 10, 12 minutes. So I want to thank you for that. And with your permission, a motion to adjourn.
Is there a
I'll second it.
All right. Motion made by Selectman Anderson, second by Selectwoman Rouse. Any further discussion? Being none, we'll do a roll call vote. Selectman Anderson,
Anderson's a yes.
Selectman Harrington,
Harrington, yes.
Selectwoman Rouse,
Gross, yes.
Chris Gallo, yes. Motion carries 4-0. We'll see everybody on Monday.
Mr. Vice Chair? Also, don't forget Friday morning at the Wrentham Elementary School.
Yeah.
So I will be, I am trying to get there, Selectman Anderson. I actually have a meeting that I'm trying to move. If I can't, I know you'll go represent us wonderfully as you always do. I don't know, Michelle, are you gonna try to go as well?
Yep,
Right.
I'll be there too.
Regretfully, I can't. I have a commitment with work.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't make it. I can't make it either, so I wouldn't be able to attend, but I'll be there for sure, Monday. And just a reminder, on Monday, we're gonna put, like we do, every year, we'll have a posted agenda, for the 6:30 start, town meeting start at 7. But I'm not anticipating anything, but we'll have it posted either way.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Sure, 6:30, we'll have a select board meeting, pre-meeting prior to town meeting if anything comes up. At this time, I don't anticipate anything, but we'll have it posted. Town meeting start is 7 PM. Last year was the first year we moved that from 7:30. It's continued.
Okay, thank you.
June
Go.
And we
3rd.
meet at Randall Road at 9:30 on Monday morning.
Rates at 10:30.
Great
10.
question.
10 o'clock.
Next question.
Oh,
What
so
time?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, meet, step off at 10:30.
Correct. Okay.
10 o'clock Randall Road on Monday.
Excuse me, Mr. Vice Chair.
Yes.
I thought Mr. McGovern had mentioned that they were moving the parade from 10:30 to 10.
It's other way around.
Other
10
way
to
around.
10:30, because the KP band has to go to Norfolk first. So
Okay.
they moved it to 10:30.
Okay, my bad. Thank you.
We'll be there
Yeah.
at 10. The parade starts at 10:30. Correct?
Correct. Now,
All right.
Amanda can send out calendar invites and reminders as well, just so you have the specific details again.
That'd be helpful.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Selectman Anderson, what, you got a job to do.
I already did it.
You
Oh,
did it.
did we vote it? We're done?
Yeah, and then I seconded it. Wake up,
Awesome.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Did we do a roll call vote? We did it all? I'm losing my mind. We're done? This is great. Everyone, have a wonderful evening. Thank you all.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thanks.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thank you.
Thanks, Amanda.